Hey guys, this is INFIN-AI. In today's session, we'll be learning what Git is, what GitHub is. I'll be explaining both the terminologies in detail. Let's dive into the session now. So let's start with introduction to Git. And imagine this: you own a website, a company named as Google, and Google had different versions of their website in 1997 till 2025. It used to look different in 1997, 1998, 2010, and so on till 2025. And one day you thought Google website looks trash right now, and I want to go back to the version of 1998. For that, either you'll need time machine or you'll need a software which keeps track of each and every version of your code. And that's what Git is. Git keeps track of each and every version of your code. And that's why Git is very important tool for a software engineer. Even I have used it so many times in website building. Whenever I used to make a website and it goes non-functional, I had to roll back to the version when it used to work fine. Let's start with installing Git. There are different ways to do it in different OS. I'll be doing it in Windows, and Rituparna will show how to do it for Mac. Let's straight dive into it. You have to go to browser, open this website named as Git SCM, and now I'll link each and every link in our WhatsApp groups or in the meeting chat. And now here you have to click on standalone installer 64-bit version, and it's 64-bit for my PC. So now I'll download the file and I'll open the installer now. Now, as you can see, the installer is opened right now. I'll keep clicking next because we have to keep each and every option as default for now. We don't have to tweak anything. I'll keep clicking next. Now I'll be installing it. It will take some time. Now the Git is successfully installed on my PC. To check that there is a way, we'll do that. I'll open my PowerShell now. I have opened my PowerShell. I'll type git dash version, and now you can see something written over here is git version 2.48, and that means the git is properly installed on your PC. Now you can use it. Now Rituparna will show how to do it for Mac.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So in the case of Mac, there are multiple processes basically to install Git in Mac. So I'm going to show you the easier version. The easier version is to install Homebrew. So Homebrew is basically a package manager. You can install various libraries using Homebrew. So the website is https://brew.sh. So you go there, and this is the code. You just copy this. Okay. Now just a sec. Okay, is it visible? Terminal visible?
Yeah,
Hello?
it is. Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll paste the code that I got from Homebrew, and I'm going to install Homebrew. So in my computer, Homebrew is already installed, but I'm going to show you how to do that. I'll have to give the password now. Right? So in the case of when you type your password in the terminal, it is not visible, but the password is getting the input anyway. So it shows that if I press enter, then Homebrew is going to get installed. But since it's already there, so I'm just going to abort the process. Okay. Then you have to type brew install git. Okay, so you just click enter, and Homebrew will install Git for you. So it is already there, so it is saying that it is already installed and up to date, so I can reinstall it. So that's all, and that's a process. Over to you.
So first of all, you'll need a project. I'll be setting up a sample project along the session, and I'll be using VS Code IDE. I'll show you how to do it. I'll open VS Code. Okay, VS Code have been opened. I'll open a folder in desktop named as INFIN-AI. Let me name it INFIN-AI. I'll open it in VS Code now. And now I'll create a file named main.py. Now I'll write some basic code in it. And now I'll create one more folder in it named as test and one more file named as test.py. I'll write some basic code again. Yeah, okay, I want exact 0. Okay, so now we are done with setting up a sample project. You can use your own project too. I just want to show you how to do that. That's why I created a sample project. Now, one more important thing you have to keep in mind, you have to use Git using the PowerShell. So I'll show you how to do that. Now you can see we are in C drive, which is the directory where the PowerShell is opened. So we need to open the PowerShell at this specific directory. I want it to be at INFIN-AI. And for that, what you can do is copy the path and then do cd. cd means change directory, and paste the path. I want it at INFIN-AI, not on the test. And now you have opened the PowerShell successfully on the folder which you wanted. And one more thing I would like to show you. If you go to the VS Code and if you open the terminal automatically opens at the folder which you need. And that's one more plus point of using VS Code. I'll come to the next part in which we'll be learning the basic Git commands. So basically, we already have a project ready. We have created a sample project. We opened the terminal at specific location we needed. Now we have to initialize. We have to set up our Git on the specific folder we wanted. So now let's see how to do that. I'll be opening VS Code now. Okay, VS Code is opened. I'll write git init. Now you can see it have initialized a empty git repo on it. Now I'll show you one more thing. That is, I'll open the folder. I'll go to desktop and I'll open INFIN-AI folder. Now over here you can see there is a folder named as .git. You can't see this folder on Windows unless and until you go into view, then go to show and tick the hidden item on. If I uncheck it, it hides that again. And now I'll open the folder once. Now you can see there are some files named as head, config, fetch head. I'll explain all those files what they are in upcoming part. And now let's go to the next part in which we'll be learning how to use git status, how to use basic commands, how to configure the git. So now let's look at what we are covering. Git init, git status, git add, git commit. Don't worry about that. I'll be covering the theory part right now. I'll be covering the coding part after this. So even if you don't understand what I'm saying right now, I'll be covering it in coding part. And now let's look at what git init is. Git init, I already told you what git init does. Git init sets up git in your folder, in your project, and it will track each and every file of your folder of your project. Git status is like comparing the version 1 with version 2, or comparing the current version with the previous version. And git add is adding a specific file, or let's suppose you have 100 files, you want to add only 10 files of those to git version control. You can do that using git add. And git commit, you can refer to commit as version. When you do git commit, you are committing a new version of your code to git. And that's all about the theory. Now I'll be covering the coding part. Let's move on to that. So first of all, start with configuring user information. Why is it important? Let's suppose you have a company of 100 people, and one day what happens, the company software stops working suddenly, and one of the person is the imposter, and you don't know his name, his ID, his profile, you don't know anything. So for that, configuring the user information is very important. So for this, there is a simple command. There will be a cheat sheet provided to you. Don't worry about that. You don't have to remember all the commands in it. What you have to do is copy this git config -- global username and type your first name and last name over here and paste it in the VS Code, and similarly for the email, and you can do the configuration for color. It gives you better visualization. I'll do it in VS Code for you right now. Okay, now over here I have typed git config -- global username Nimish Shinde. The same command I showed, like I told you earlier. Over here, this is my first name, this is last name. I'll configure it. Now I'll do same thing for my email. Again, I'll initialize it, and now I'll do the color UI configuration. Now you are ready to go. Let's move on to the next command. Let's create first version of our code. I'll be switching to VS Code to do that. We haven't created any version yet. I'll type git status. What it will do is it will compare the current version with the previous version, but we haven't created any version yet. It will show untracked files. It will show main.py and test is not tracked yet. To track them, use git add and the file name. What it will do is, using git add, it will track the file you want in git for the version control. If you don't do that, the version control won't work on the specific file. If I want to add main.py, I can write git add, then I'll write main.py. What it will do is it will add main.py, but here I want to add each and every file present in INFIN-AI folder. For that, there is a shortcut which is git add and dot. It will add each and every file present in this folder. And now if you write git status again, you can see changes to be committed. So we have already tracked the file which we wanted, both the folder and the file. Now let's create the first version of our code. Write git commit, git commit -m, and I'll write version 1. I'll explain what it is. 1 minute. Okay, so what it does, git commit. Commit means the version. You can refer to commit as version, and -m means the message it will go with your commit. And you remember when we initialized our name for the first time, it will also go with the version you are committing. So keep in mind, when you are initializing the name, it will go with every commit you do. Okay, let's enter this. Now you can see it have been created, and now the first version of your project have been created just right now. If we do git status again, there is nothing on the master branch, nothing to commit, and we have already created first version. That's why it is showing it. Now let's move on to the next git command. So let's understand version history. There are 2 to 3 commands in this. Git log, git commit, dash dash commit. What both of these are? Git log is something which will show the version history. It will show the commit messages. It will show the author name. It will show unique commit hashes. And don't worry about this. When we'll code this, you'll get a better understanding of this, what this is. And coming to git commit dash dash commit part, if you have done any mistake while creating a version, while committing it, what it will do, it will fix the mistake and you can recommit it. I'll show it in code so it will be better for you to understand, and I'll give you an example. Let's suppose you are using Google Docs. In Google Docs, it automatically creates a different version of the doc, and you might be thinking, why not we implement the similar thing in Git? Why not we do the automatic version control? Why we have to manually commit each and every version of our code? So think about it. Whenever you are done writing your code, Git doesn't know when you're done doing it, right? You have to tell the Git when your code is finished. If Git creates a new version of half done code, there might be some issues and the code might not work, right? So let's come to the coding part now. Now let's see how to check out the version history. Now I'll switch back to VS Code. I'll go to the terminal now. In terminal, you have to write git log. In git log, you can see the information about author, date, commit, the unique commit hash, and the version. We already committed the version 1 in previous part. Now let's see, what if I thought I don't want to create a new version, I don't want to commit a new version, I want to make changes to the previous version. How to do that? I'll make some changes, and now we'll be using the amend command which I told you about earlier. I'll be using that. How to use that? Let's write git add. First of all, we have to add this main.py file. Let's add main.py. You can do it using dot also. Let's do that using dot. Now I have added the main.py file. Now we have to do git commit dash m version 1 updated. You can write any message over here, like it's optional thing, but I'm writing it as version 1 update. And now after that I have to write dash dash amend. Now what it will do, it will make changes to our previous first version. If we have done some errors while creating our first version, for this the command is made. Now let's enter it. Now you can see it have made changes to our first version. Now let's do one thing. I'll do git log again. Over here you can see I can see the version 1 is updated now, and that's what git log and git commit amend does. And that's all. Let's move on to the next command. So now we'll be looking at creating new versions and going back to the previous version. We already know how to create new version. Let's create a third version just for God's sake. Let's create, I have already written version 3 over here. So let's commit with version 3 message. Okay. Ready? I have committed it. Now you can see version 1, version 2 and version 3 is already being met. If I do git log dash dash all dash dash graph, over here you can see version, okay, 1 minute, yeah, version 1, version 2 and version 3 all are being made, and you can see there is like one red line passing through. I'll come to the branch part later, but that's the branch. Let's type Q right now, and now we have to go back to the version 1. Let's suppose I am right now in version 3, head means we are currently in version 3 and I want to go back to the version 1. So what's the code or command for it? Let's see that. Let's first of all copy this hash function and then let's write git checkout, and then I'll paste this unique hash, and if I type this, now you can see node switching back to this unique hash. Now if I write git log again, you can see we are back to version 1. And if I write git log dash dash all and dash dash graph, now we are back to version 1 and the head is over here, not on the version 3. So that's how you can go back or roll back to the previous version. And now let's see how the branching thing works, and let's see how all the things work too. Let's go on to the next part. Okay, over here you can see there are two images. One is Git version history, one is Google Doc version history. If I am creating version 1, version 2 and version 3 and rolling back to the version 1 again, and then I'm updating the version 1, then it will create a branch out of it. It is not the case with Google Docs. If I'm doing version 1, version 2 or version 3, then I'm rolling back to version 1. It won't create a branch like this. And now I can visualize the branch in VS Code. Let me switch back to VS Code. So over here you can see we have already rolled back to the version 1 using this code, the checkout code. Now we'll do one thing. We'll update this code. I'll write updated over here and also in test file. Okay, updated. So now over here you can see I have updated the code, and first it was on version 3. I had to go back on version 1. Now I have updated it. Now what I'll do is I'll add all the changes using the GUI. 1 minute. Okay, I'll stage all the changes. I have staged all the changes. Now I'll do version 1 branch. Okay, now I'll commit it. Now do one thing, write git log dash dash all dash dash graph, and graph will show the branching. And now over here you can see there are two branches created over here. One is going straight and one is going like this, the green one. And over here you can see the head branch is this, which is the similar thing which I have shown in the PPT over here. It have created a branch like this. And what if we wanted to do like we didn't want a branch, we just want version 1, then version 2, then version 3 and directly version 1, just like Google Docs. We can replicate that too using code. I'll show you how to do that. Okay, I have switched back to VS Code now. It is quite easy to do the Google Docs thing. Now over here you can see there are two branches coming out. We just want to keep the one branch. Over here in VS Code we just want the version 1, the version 2 and version 3 branch, this green branch. So for that let's press Q right now. Now what we have to do is let's type git checkout master. What it will do is it will check out to this master branch. It will just keep this master branch. Let's do that. And now if I do git log dash dash all dash dash graph, now you can see there is only one branch left. Now what we have to do, we are on version 3. We wanted that we want version 1, then version 2, then version 3, and we wanted version 1 on top of that without branching. For that what we have to do is write git checkout again and copy this unique hash, and after that add a dot to it. So over here in code, look closely, there is version 3 written over here. If I do that, now we are back to version 1. And if I do the branching visualization, we just have one single branch of version 1, version 2 and version 3, and it is updated in version 3. So we have essentially created version 1, version 2, version 3, and on top of that we have version 1 too, and we didn't create a branch. So you got it how to do the Google Docs thing in Git. And now let's move on to the next part. Let's look at miscellaneous feature of Git. We can add alias in Git, we can do .git ignore, and also we can remove all the Git thing, the version control from our project completely. So let's see how to do that using code. I'll be switching back to VS Code now. Over here, I'll open terminal again and write this thing. Okay, what is this? Git config dash global alias.s status. What it will do, if I enter this, if I'm writing git status like this, and it is similar to writing git s. So alias is just short form of the git command you are writing, and it will output the same result. You can add the similar thing for commit to. If I'm writing git alias.cm, and like I have to write commit over here, and now the alias for commit is set as cm. If I'm writing git cm, now over here you can see changes to be committed, like it is working fine. Now let's come to the part where we'll be creating a git ignore file. What git ignore file is, let's suppose you have a file named as secrets.txt, and you don't want this file to be available in public, and this contains some key, some secret key, and you don't want this key to be public. And but you can see it might go public if you are doing git add dot. It will add each and every file to the git, and it will get public. So for that, there is one thing you can do. You can write git ignore over here and add the file secrets.txt. Never mind. Yeah, txt. Now you can see this file will get removed from the git version control, and that's a good thing for the security reasons. And now we'll be going to the next part, where we will be removing each and every git feature, the version control from our folder. Let's see how to do that. So over here I have created a new terminal. You have to write this thing which is rm.git-r-fo, which means remove .git, and -r means recursive, like it will remove each and every subfolder, and -fo means forcefully. And now if I do git status, it is showing fatal, not a git repository. So you can see we have successfully removed the git using rm.git-r-fo command, and now we are done with git.